morning, but yeah, because you kept up pretty quick. time lapse after? Or what were you thinking?
No, not I'm in city, but that was like cool to get the color because they're changing all the time. Right now they're purple though.
Right.
But down here, like it looks like the ground. Looking down this, there's like little corners.